Hello, my name is Michelle and welcome back to my channel. I have my special guest here. I have just returned home from a little trip. Went on a trip to see my friend and my sister, and I want to start right away with a little book haul. Of course, I went to my favorite indie bookstore, which the sign said it's the largest indie bookstore in Indiana. And we did a little bit of damage. Most of these I picked up on a front table in the entrance. It didn't even really have a sign, but my takeaway was that it was poetry. I was drawn to it because they had a copy of Emily Wilson's translation of The Odyssey sitting on it, which, as you know, I have just read. So I picked up, I think only 2 of these were on that table, but one also fits in with that theme. And then 2 other I picked up from another section. So we'll start with that little table first. I picked up the smallest one, A Child's Christmas in Wales by Dylan Thomas. There are also woodcuts by Ellen Raskins. This one is super short. I don't know anything about it. I picked this up in large part because I read Small Things Like These by Claire Keegan 2 Christmases ago, and this past Christmas I reread it, and I really love these short little Christmas stories, and I'm really excited to get to this one this upcoming Christmas. The next book I picked up is by an author that I've already read this year. If you'll remember my reading goals video for 2026, our first pick in the Branching Out Book Club was Martyr by Kav Akbar. I read it. I ended up loving it. It was not a 5 stars for me, but a very strong 4-star book. It fell a little bit short for me because all of the intertextuality elements and how they play together, I don't think was pulled off quite as strongly in my opinion, but I loved the messaging and I loved the discussion of reality and dreams and the little magical surreal elements throughout that one. So I saw his poetry book, Calling a Wolf, and I had to pick it up. I wasn't set on buying this until I opened it up and I saw that the poem Wild Pear Tree is in this one. As you know, I'm a longtime John Green fan, and on Vlogbrothers he quotes Akbar, and this is one of his favorite poems, John Green's, and he says it's been January for months in both directions. So I love that line. I don't know anything else about this one. Generally, I've been liking his poetry. Gosh, I picked something else up immediately after I read Martyr, and Akbar was quoted in the beginning of that book. So I'm excited to finally read some more poetry. I'm having a poetry theme lately, I guess. And I'm excited because I feel like I'm really just experimenting and seeing what I like. And so far some have worked for me, some haven't. And I'm hoping that I really like these 2 picks. So the next section, they have a author inscribed section. So all these books are signed and they have a really good selection of signed books always. I picked up another poetry collection from that section. I'm stoked about this one. It sounds right up my alley. It is Come From by Janan Alexandra. I'll read a little bit of the back because this is what sold me on this one. It is weaving English and Arabic together, which is exciting. I love learning new languages and I don't know too much about Arabic. And it explores the joint projects of longing and belonging, which are themes that I love and are dear to my heart. It talks about post-colonial loss, come from searches for what might be possible if we dislodge our practices of belonging, divest from nation and state, and instead turn deeply toward each other. I love the idea of crossing nationalities, national boundaries. There's some of these poems are reminiscent of different Arabic poetic styles, and a lot of this is about history and empire. The next one I went back and forth on. My sister convinced me to get it. The Hedgehog's Dilemma by Toon Tellegen. This sounds so cute. It's about a hedgehog with anxiety, essentially, just from reading the back. There's a hedgehog, he wants to invite all of his friends over. He's worried they will all come at once, and then he's worried that none of them will come. And it just sounds so sweet, so endearing. It is illustrated. The little cartoon characters look so cute. I'm hoping this is just really wholesome and fun. The fifth and final book that I picked up, I also went back and forth on this one. So I had picked it up first in the author and scribe section, and then I saw it again in the staff picks. This is another highly recommended John Green author, and it sort of ties into the audiobook genre I'm listening to right now and really loving. So this is Cory Doctorow, Picks and Shovels. I think this is part of a series, a Martin Hench novel. So that I picked it up under the staff picks, the recommendations said shattering the glass ceiling and criticizing late stage capitalism. And I said, that sounds right up my alley, but it's also in sort of a noir detective mystery kind of lens. I'll show you the signature. Exciting. Show you the other signature. I just really love this one. It's like a sparkly gold pen and the little spiral. I just, it feels so special when authors sign their books. So thank you to the authors that do that and really, really prioritize getting their works in the hands of the readers. I also went to my first ever writing retreat, so I wanted to talk a little bit about that. I've got my 2 journals here. I finally have a place to stick all my stickers. I love them. They're so cute. A lot of these are from the Project for Awesome. Probably never talked about it here, but I journal quite regularly, and I've been keeping up with it since around 2019. In 2019, I wanted to journal every single day, and I did that. I was able to accomplish that. That was a lot. I would get behind on days, and that would be stressful, and I would try to catch up. I also realized it was more of a chronicle, and I was writing down like everything that happened that day, and that was just exhausting and not really what I wanted or helpful. So I learned a lot that year, but now I journal more sporadically, but I have kept up with it pretty consistently. Also like to try to write other things and really get back into writing fiction. It's been so long. I took creative writing in high school. I loved it. And in college, I just had so much fun being creative. The legal writing curriculum will kind of crush that creativity out of you. And I have grown as a writer through legal writing and learning all of that and my English major, obviously, but the creative side of the writing has definitely stagnated and needs some work. But I met some lovely ladies and I spent all day writing and it was so fun. Just for fun, I'll go ahead and share my warm-up poem. It's like nothing earth-shattering or anything. We selected paint swatches and we had to use, so you know when you get your paint swatch, they'll have 3 very similar colors, but they all have a different name. A tan one, and you'll see the words in the poem when I read it. I did decide to make it in the format of a haiku. One of the names was 6 syllables, and I thought it'd be a fun challenge because that one had to be slotted in the middle. Cow udders choice cream, intricate ivory spots, lotus pod tail swish. And that's it. Nice and simple. I did want to give a huge shout out to my friend Avery for hosting that. If you want to follow her on Instagram, she is Muse de la Rue Writing, and she writes poems. She types them up. You can order them. And she also has a collection of poetry called Liturgy for an Ugly Cry. And I really, really did enjoy that one. It speaks a lot about grief, love, loss, but really, what really spoke to me was growing up and how painful that can be, honestly. So it's a really sweet little collection. Check it out.